The Magic the Gathering market is literally always in flux, and much like the stock market, it can be hard to keep track of what's what with so many variables flying around all the time. But never fear, because that's why the Jank Center is here, to showcase 10 cards that are currently dropping in price. Should you buy them? I don't know, man. I'm not a doctor, but hopefully after this video, you will be much more equipped with knowledge to make your purchases. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, I've got to first let you know that this video is brought to you by the EDH Jank Center, your source for everything Commander and everything Jank, and your EDH safe space, and I'm your host, Jordan. Now, let's dive in. First up on the docket is Kirik? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. Son of Yawgmoth, 4 and 3 Phyrexian or black mana. It says legendary creature Phyrexian horror minion. This copy is from Modern Horizons 3. It says Phyrexian mana can be paid with either a black mana or 2 life. It has lifelink, and for each black in a mana cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Kirik, Son of Yawgmoth, and it's a 2/2. So a select group of friends and I play Magic over text. Please feel free to roast in the comments. We know it's ridiculous, but it's a leftover thing from COVID and I think it's cute, so. And this was one of the first commanders I played against in that group chat we have, and let me just say, this card is very good, even when the game takes 20+ days to complete. Basically, this costs 4 mana and 6 life to get out onto the field, which is already bonkers, but then you can really start to get the ball rolling once you start casting your black spells for a discounted rate and getting Kirik jacked in the process. Oh, and all that life loss? Yeah, brother, that gets offset by Kirik's built-in lifelink, as well as any other life gain effects in black, of which there are plenty. An all-around great card, and I'm so glad to see it now sitting at under $1, folks. Big dubs for the budget builders out there. Also, please tell me how to pronounce Kirik in the comments below, because I feel like I'm doing it wrong. But while you do that, let's check out our next card, which is Screaming Nemesis, 2 and a red creature spirit. This is from Duskmourn. It says haste, and whenever Screaming Nemesis is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game, and it's a 3/3. I opened this sweet baby up in a few packs of Duskmourn and traded them away, which initially made me super sad since this card was very pricey when the set first came out. And now I'm less mad because it's less pricey. I wish my emotions weren't intrinsically linked to card prices, but alas, here we are. A 3/3 Hasty Boy is super cool, but that second ability is the money, baby. Not only is this a better stuffy doll effect, but being able to prevent a player from gaining life for the rest of the game can be debilitating. Getting all this for 3 mana is just so juicy, and I don't know whether or not to snag this now, or hope that it goes down even further and ends up like our mono black friend from the first selection. Either way, now is better than yesterday, and I am happy to see such an awesome card and insane ability heading downwards so us plebeians can afford it. Alright, next up we've got Overlord of the Hauntwoods, 3 green enchantment creature avatar horror, also from Duskmourn. It says impending 4. You can pay 1 and green. If you cast this spell for its impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters and isn't a creature until the last is removed. At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter from it. Whenever Overlord of the Hauntwoods enters or attacks, create a tapped colorless land token named Everywhere that is every basic land type, and it's a 6/5. We are going back to Duskmourn cards here, kiddos, and this former pricey baby is also heading downwards in price. In my research, I am seeing that this has to do more with modern or limited formats than it does with Commander, so if you know more about that, feel free to drop it in the comments since my brain usually stays Commander pilled these days. But nonetheless, we have a decline for a very cool card, and that makes me a happy boy. Alrighty, next up on the docket is Orcish Bowmasters, 1 and a black creature orc archer from the Lord of the Rings set. It has flash, and when this creature enters the battlefield and whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmasters deals 1 damage to any target, then amass orcs 1, and it's a 1/1. And here we have a staple of CDH decks splashing black, and good god, before making this video I had no idea how expensive this thing actually was. CDH is no joke, dude, and so far away from this channel's ethos, but hey, we don't exclude here at the Jank Center, so we had to show this one off. The effect here is just brutal. There are so many ways in MTG right now to draw more than 1 card per turn. So this thing will be going off like crazy in most mid to high powered games. And what's crazy is that this thing doesn't even need a mass, but but hey, we got it anyways. So while it's throwing damage around and punishing players for drawing more, you are also getting a giant jacked army token to boot. Nothing not to love here, and while the decline is slight, we are going to hope it stays on that downward trend so that it's more affordable for everyone. All right, next up we're doing Leyline of the Guildpact. Hybrid green-white, hybrid green-blue, hybrid black-green, hybrid red-green. Jesus Christ, mana. It's an enchantment. It's from Murders at Karlov Manor, and it says, if Leyline of the Guildpact is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. It also says, each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. When Murders at Karlov Manor first came out, I opened this in a pack and thought, huh, that's really cool, I'll probably never use it, and proceeded to keep it anyway? My judgment was off in the fall and winter, man, because I gave away my Screaming Nemesis and kept this when I'm defo not a big 5-color player. Poor judgment aside, if you are a 5-color player, then boy oh boy, you must be squealing like a little cute pig, because this thing is going down, baby. Mana fixing is always great, and having the added bonus of every once in a while playing this for free, if it's in your opening hand, is an amazing cherry on top. Not much else to say, but go snag it right now, kiddos. Okay, next up, let's look at Veyran, Voice of Duality. 1 in a blue-red legendary creature, Efreet Wizard from Tarkir Dragonstorm. It says, Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Veyran gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And it also says, if you casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time, and it's a 2/2. The reprint gods came through for us boys with this card because the full art borderless original printing of this card from Commander 2021 is still decently pricey, but after having been printed in both the Thunder Junction and Tarkir Dragonstorm precons, we now have copies available at just under $4, which for me is way more doable and justifiable than 11. Nothing much else to say here other than Spellslingers rejoice and get you a copy of Veyran while they're hot. And now we've got Snapcaster Mage next. 1 in a blue creature human wizard. This is from the original Innistrad set. It has flash, and when Snapcaster Mage enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. You may cast that card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it, and it's a 2/1. This original printing is from before my time, but I know from my many games of Magic with other older players as well as context clues that this card was an absolute icon back in its day. I know for a while it was huge in Standard because having 4 copies of this in a build has obvious benefits. Blinking this could also be pretty cool in Commander. Now, I'm not usually a Spellslinger kind of guy, but even I can get behind a card like this, dude. Especially as it comes down in price over time. The more accessible, the better, I say. Do you have to run things like this all the time? No, but it's nice to have if you are the kind of player who wants to play with power, but maybe doesn't have the funds to keep up with the people running Orcish Bowmasters in every deck. And by the way, there's also proxying, guys, but shh, don't tell anyone I said that. Tell everyone it's proxying is good and cool. All right, degenerates unite. Let's talk about Ygra, Eater of All next. 3 in a black-green legendary creature, elemental cat from Bloomburrow. It has ward, sacrifice a food. It also has other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types and have 2 tap. Sacrifice this permanent, you gain 3 life. Whenever a food is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Ygra, Eater of All, and it's a 6/6. I was a bit upset when Ygra came out. Usually, I'm the big eater in my family and friend circles, and unfortunately, I stayed upset when someone played this in front of me for the first time and I got board wiped with it on the field. Ouchies. Absolutely disgusting and such a busted card. I mean, pretty simple tech here, kiddos. If you're a meanie butt or enjoy watching your friends' faces twist into sorrow, but you're on a budget, now is a good time to get in on the action. That's kind of all I gotta say about it. And now let's have a chat about 4th Eorlingas. X and a red-white sorcery from the Lord of the Rings set. It says, create X 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. And it also says, whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to 1 or more players this turn, you become the monarch. Feels weird saying Eorlingas. I don't know, man. That aside though, I think this is a really cool card that may be more popular in limited formats, question mark. It's decently narrow and commander, that's why I'm saying that, but also very cool in human builds. Not knocking it at all. I love the idea of being able to dump a bunch of mana into this and snag a bunch of tokens with trample and haste. That is right up my alley, man, and reminds me that once upon a time, I really wanted to build an AoN humans deck, which might be time to bring that idea back, actually. And on top of that cool X spell ability, we also get to snag the Monarch if we connect to an opponent's life total. You know what? I take this back. I love this card now, and the name doesn't even weird me out. It definitely does still weird me out, but I still think it's great, and you should snag it now while it's petering down. And now we are going to move on to our final card, which is Final Showdown. 1 white mana instant from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It has Spree, which means we can choose 1 or more additional costs. We can add 1 mana to make all creatures lose all abilities until end of turn. We can add another mana to choose a creature we control. It gains indestructible until end of turn, and we can add 3 and a white to destroy all creatures. I mean, it's quite a fitting name for our final card of the day. The Spree cards from Thunder Junction are arguably the best cards from the set, in my opinion. The utility they provide is just fantastic, and this card is one of the best we've got. Very happy to see this taking a dive. All right, and just like that, we have made it to the end of this week's video, kiddos. What cards are you loving right now that have dropped in price? What should I or other people be on the lookout for next? Did I miss anything? I'm always down there in the comments, so come on down and have a chat with me. And hey, if you'd like to join the EDH Jank Center Discord community, watch these videos a day early, submit cards for the patron selections, and play spell table games with me and other patrons every month, consider signing up for the Patreon in the description below. We've got a beautiful Discord community and affordable entry points, so come on in and get janked. And hey, if you don't have the funds for monetary support, that's totally chill. You can just like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more Commander stuff and more jank. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'll see you on the next video, and don't forget, the spirit of the format is the gathering.